Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new episode. You join me in the greenhouse today, which is a little bit different, but you actually haven't been here for probably over a year now. So what I thought we'd do is we'd have a little bit of a tour. I'll go through what I've sown, what's growing, what I will be sowing, and we'll just have a little bit of a chit chat in the greenhouse for something different. I've put some of my squash seeds in some water to soak. I was meant to do this last night so they could soak overnight and I could sow them today, but I forgot. So they're going to soak today and I'll probably plant them up tomorrow. So I've got some squash hunter and some crown prince squash as well that's soaking. And I need to put my gherkin in as well today. But yeah, this is the time of year when the greenhouse really gets into full swing. It really gets its use. As you can see, it's looking a bit busy now. We need to tidy up a bit, tidy up this top shelf so we've got more room to put our seed trays. But yeah, it's getting a bit busy now, which is great. I love this time of year. It's so exciting. I don't know if you've seen the potting bench that my dad made. I'm not sure if I showed you or not. We picked this up from a farm sale. It's like an old dairy trough which they used to clean things in. My dad's made a wooden top for it so we can pot on. And this little bit is removable so we can get to the potting compost which is inside the trough there. He's also made a little shelf down the bottom for us to put our pots and trays on. And he made a shelf as well, so we've got all our labels up the top and our tools. And my nephew's tools there because he really likes gardening. Obviously got our seed boxes in here. My dad got a heated propagator a couple of years back now, which he uses all the time. And there's also a small heater which has been used this year because it's been so cold. Like this winter seems to have just dragged on and on and on. We've had snow, we've had endless days and weeks of rain. And it's just been so long. But we are forecast for a heat wave next week, which I can't quite believe yet. But it's supposed to reach about 20, 21 on Wednesday and Thursday, which I'm so excited about. We haven't felt the heat for so long. And to reach that temperatures in April for us is really good. So hopefully the greenhouse is gonna spring to life. They all need a little bit of heat now. I found that germination has been a bit slow, so what I've been doing is taking things inside for a bit of heat and then bringing them out and obviously having the heater on. But things are slowly growing. They're slowly growing. What I do is I'll go through what I have sown, what's growing and what I will be sowing. Because as you know, I've been really organised this year. And as well as my spreadsheets and things like that, at the end of every month I make a list of what I need to sow next year, so I'm really on top of it. So much better than last year. Last year we were so behind. My dad didn't even have time to plant out his potatoes. But I'll go through my seeds to sow in April, and the majority of these have been sown now in early April. It's about the middle of April now. But I have sown some Cosmos Xanthos, a mix of Cosmos, Scabious Sternkugel, Mini Pop Sweet Corn, Munchkin Pumpkin, Tom Fox Pumpkin, Black Beauty Courgette, Parador Courgette, Red Cabbage called Ruby, Cauliflower Autumn Giant, Brussels Sprouts Brody, and some nasturtiums. So I'll also be sowing some squash called Hunter and my Crown Prince squash as well once they've soaked overnight. And then I'll also be sowing my gherkin as well. The gherkin is Cornicon de Paris. I'm trying a different variety this year. Just for something different. But yeah, things are starting to come up now. The flowers were a little bit slow. Oh, they're not the ones that I sowed the other day. These are the ones I sowed the other day, the Cosmos. So they were sown on the 7th. They're just starting to come up now. I don't know if you can see. The Cosmos Xanthos, they're a yellow colour. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for them. They've actually been really quick coming up, but the flowers which I sowed back in March took absolutely ages to come up, and like I said, I think it was the heat. They obviously need heat to germinate. But I've got my scabious black knight, my calendula Indian prince, calendula touch of red buff, zinnia Cinderella, and zinnia queen red lime. So they were all sown on the 27th of March. But they're all coming up now, which is good. I was so worried because the flower border is the area which I am most excited about this year. It beats the vegetable patch for me this year. Obviously I'm excited to see the vegetables grow, but I don't know why, I'm just so excited about the idea of flowers. I haven't got my list for March here, but what I have been doing is writing it all down in my diary. I mean, I've got my allotment notebook, which I take everywhere with me. I write every single thing about my allotment and inspiration and everything garden related down in my notebook. But I think I mentioned this before, but I bought this diary specifically for gardening. So it's not my personal one, I just write everything gardening down in there. So, you know, when I pop up the allotment, what I do up there, if we pop to a garden centre, what seeds need to be sown, when they germinate, everything basically. So let's head back through to March and I'll tell you what I sowed in March. So in March, at the end of March, I sowed borage, lady's mantle, chamomile, spearmint, dill, normal chives and garlic chives, the scabious black knight, which I just showed, and the zinnia, both zinnias, both calendulas, some sunflowers called Sonia, which are a dwarf variety, some Swiss chard, some spring onion, some sweet peppers, and some sugar snap peas. Now I've had trouble with germination on quite a few of them. My lady's mantle and my feverfew haven't come up. My sweet peppers, which I've put in the heated propagator, haven't come up either. So I think I'm going to have to buy some seedlings for them. But everything else is doing fine. I just showed you the flowers. The sunflowers have germinated. I've also sown my spring onion in this little old chicken trough. So they're doing really well. And my sugar snap peas, which I sow in these root trainers. I love using root trainers, especially for, you know, sweet peas and beans, and I put my peas in there as well. I was going to direct sow these, but because it's been so cold, I thought I'd give them a head start in the greenhouse. These are the sugar snap variety called Spring Blush. They grow to well over 2 meters tall. They'll be growing up some of the handmade wigwams which my dad makes. So I'll have 2 wigwams. There'll be 12 to each wigwam. So there's plenty here. 3 haven't come up, but there's plenty here to use. The flowers are pink and the pods have a hint of pink to them as well, so they're going to look so beautiful. And obviously you can eat the whole pod because they're sugar snap peas, so I'll be adding them to stir fries and probably just eating them up the allotment as well. Sweet peas have been really slow. I was late sowing my sweet peas. And I've also sowed some Mongolian giant sunflowers, which are all starting to come up now. These were saved seed from my biggest sunflower last year, so I've got high hopes for them. I sowed my courgettes and my pumpkins the other day, so they haven't come up yet. What I have been doing also, let me get a tray out to show you, is I've been using my paper pot maker to make my little pots so I can pop all my seedlings on. Now, not only are they eco-friendly, they're also biodegradable, so you can plant the whole pot outside when they're ready to plant out. Where is my, oh, it's here. I haven't used the paper pot maker in about 5 years when I first bought it at the Edible Garden Show, but I forgot how fun it is to use. And I was sat watching the telly one evening, and I'm not the type of person that can just sit there, like I have to be doing something. So I thought I'd get some newspaper and I'll make some pots. And they're so easy to make, so I recommend you getting one. And also they hold water really, really well. They're nice and moist now. So yeah, I need to actually make some more because things are going to shoot up with this little heat wave we're going to have. I also have some radish in a little tank. Let's see if I can show you. Ta-da! There's actually two there that need to be picked, but there's a row down the middle here, which was sown a couple of weeks ago, and I've sown another row next to that. I just leave it in the greenhouse now to give it a little bit of extra heat. But I picked my first radishes about 2 weeks ago, so it was actually really nice, you know, harvesting something when it's been grey and cold outside, which has been really good. And talking of growing things in the winter, I've been growing cress. Now you probably think that's a really childish thing to grow, but oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much. And I remember growing it when I was little and thinking, well, when the teacher gave us breaded rolls, I remember thinking, ugh, I'm not going to eat that. Like, who would want to eat that? But like 20 odd years on and I'm addicted to it. This is the third cup I've had this month. It takes a week to go from seed to harvest, which is so quick. And when it's raining outside and it's snowing and it's cold, and you've got this little pot of green on your windowsill, it's nice. It's nice to look at, and it just feels nice to actually be growing something. So yeah, I've been enjoying that with egg and cress sandwiches, which I just absolutely love now. And 1 cupful is usually enough to feed me, my mum and my dad twice. So God, I've gone really bunged up again all of a sudden. So yeah, my organisational skills have really worked this year. And I'm actually so surprised at how organised I am and how it's actually worked out. Because like I said, last year was just so hectic and busy. But my spreadsheets, which I made, have been a lifesaver this year. They're over on the blog as well if you want to have a good look and make your own. And I keep meaning to put a PDF version on there for you to use, and I will do that. But basically it's just all the vegetables that I grow, the variety, the quantity that I need, when I need to sow them indoors, sow outdoors, plant out, and when they need to be harvested. So I've done that with my vegetables, herbs and flowers. And it's been a complete lifesaver. And I'm actually going to make a similar spreadsheet up for when things have actually germinated, so I can look back at it. I've obviously been writing it in my diary, but it would be quite nice to have it on a spreadsheet for me to actually look at. So talking about growing things and harvesting things, I don't know if you noticed behind me, but I picked my first daffodils, when was it? A couple of days ago. This variety is called Thalia, and they are double bloom, so there's 2 flowers on each stem, and they're pure white, and they smell delicious. They smell so nice. These were grown in my lasagna container, which I planted up 2 years ago now. But yeah, they were sitting up the allotment for ages, so I left it a little bit too late to cut them. But we had some quite bad rainfall, so I thought I'll pick them and bring them home, because no one's going to be there to admire them when they're just set up the allotment. And whilst I was there, I spotted the first new variety just about to bloom, and like I thought I was in love with Thalia, but I'm even more in love with this variety. I mean, just look at those colours. It actually reminds me of a cream egg. When I first picked it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really hungry for a cream egg now. This is called My Story, and I planted a row or 2 rows in the spring bulb trough. I had some spare, so I planted some down by my entrance as well, and this was cut from there. But I'm so in love, and it's scented as well. Like, I'm not a huge fan of daffodils, and I really can't stand the bright yellow varieties for some reason, but I love these ones. I absolutely love them. So this is one of the new varieties which I planted out, My Story, sorry. I also planted out Sophie's Girl and Cheerfulness. They haven't bloomed yet, but they're in bud, so they're very nearly there. But I just wanted to show you because I was so happy with them. The first cut flowers from pot 15C. And also, while we're still on the harvesting topic, I want to show you this apron, which was sent to me all the way from America by the Rue company. And I don't know if you have the same problem, but when you're harvesting certain things like apples or plums or runner beans and things like that, if you're holding a basket you can only use one hand to pick. But this apron is such a good invention. I'm going to put it on, but it might interfere with the microphone, so I'll move the microphone in a minute. Pop it on there. So it's got a buckle system, which is really, really easy to do up. And the harness at the back just carries the load, because obviously when you've got this massive pocket full up with your harvest, it's going to pull down on your back, but the straps and the harness on the back just help you out a bit. But yeah, there's a really big pocket here, which so you can pick your beans, you can pick your plums, put them in your big pocket, and then when you're ready to unload them or put them in a basket or a trunk or whatever, then you can undo these and empty them out. I just think it's such an amazing apron. It's going to come in handy this year, I can tell you that, because I've got my eye on those cherry plums in the village. And like I said, it's so hard to pick things with one hand. There's also some pockets here. And there's a little secret phone pocket as well to keep your phone safe. But yeah, I'm so happy with it. And obviously I can't use it yet because there's nothing to harvest. But I'll be using it a lot this year, I can tell you that. And I'm happy to say that they kindly sent another one. And I decided to do a little giveaway over on the blog, so check that out in a couple of days time. I need to take some photographs of it yet, but it's basically a smaller version of this one. It isn't a complete apron, it's just the waistband one. I'll just show you quickly. It's called the Joey apron, but it works in the same way. And it's green, my favourite colour. I opted for the grey one on this just because it's quite neutral, but they do pink and green and other colours. But yeah, I'm going to give that one away in the next couple of days. Only to UK residents, unfortunately, because of postage. I do know the company does send them out to the UK, but they are based in America. So for all you Americans watching, then head on over to their website and have a look. They're such a good invention. Take the old mic back. I'm so looking forward to actually harvesting things and for the allotment to be in full swing. I think I'm going to go into my book review next. And this happens to be like my ultimate female gardening hero. And some of you have probably heard of her already. She is called Alice Fowler. I actually have 3 of her books already, but this just happens to be my favourite one. This is actually what truly got me into gardening, especially with the way that I garden, because most of the people at my allotment site they just have patches of soil, no paths, no structures, no flowers, and I just find it all a bit regimental and a bit strict. I like the sort of wild look, and so does Alice Fowler. And this book, there's a fly on my lens. It's gone now. Right, let's go back to the book. Yeah, this book is just full of so much inspiration, and I love the way that she, oh, there's a good picture. She grows flowers and vegetables and fruit all together in one space, all mingled up together. And she's got little brick pathways and, you know, a cold frame made out of old stained glass windows. And I just love it. So this book is a really good starting point if you're starting out gardening. She just looks really cool as well. But yeah, this was a big inspiration to me, so it's worth checking out. And also I think there's a little edible garden series as well that she does, which is really good. So I don't know if that's on YouTube as well or something, but that's worth checking out too. I've just seen my dahlias, which I forgot to talk to you about. I potted my dahlias up. I got 2 tubers in the post. I think I went on about them in the last video. But I potted them up following the instructions that the company gave me in the parcel. Actually the waiting game now to wait for the shoots to appear, and then obviously I'll plant them out at the end of May when we have our last frost date. I'll plant them out of the allotment, and I should be getting my last dahlia, which is being sent as a potted plant, Pulverton Christabel. That should be coming soon. Oh, I'm so excited for my dahlias. And there's also the cold frame outside, which has got some of my dad's cabbages. It's got his shallots, and it's got some Swiss chard, which I sowed last year, and my dad potted up for me. But it's waiting to go out now. Everything's just out there hardening off now. So once it's had a couple of weeks in the cold frame, it will be planted out up the allotment. But yeah, it's getting really full up. He's also put some well-watered manure underneath there into the soil either side of the path. He'll be planting his tomatoes, and also 2 cucumbers I think in this corner. So yeah. Oh, and the peas. It's because they're sat outside, I just forget about them. He grows his peas in guttering, so he's got some brackets on the inside of the shed which he starts them off in. They're about 5-6 inches tall now, so he's been hardening them off outside, ready to be planted up the allotment. So all he needs to do now is dig some trenches, and he can slide the guttering into the trenches. There's a video in the gardening guides playlist on the channel if you want to have a look at how he grows his peas in the guttering. But it's such an easier way to plant out peas. But like I said, I'm using wigwams for my sugar snap peas, so I didn't need the guttering. But yeah, it's such an exciting time of year. Such an exciting time. And of course, this is the last free weekend which we have for a long time. The garden show season starts next weekend, which is the 20th to the 22nd. Yeah, the 20th and the 23rd and the 22nd we're going to be at Fowler Place, which is down Brighton Way. And then the weekend after, which is the 27th and the 28th, which just so happens to be my birthday, we're going to be at Powderham Castle, which is Devon Way, I think. And then we've got about a week and a half off, and then it's the big one, our RHS Spring Malvern show. And then I think every weekend for the next 5 weeks will be garden shows. We've got a few weekends off here and there, but from now until September is garden show season. So basically nearly every weekend will be spent setting up shop at a different garden show, and the weeks will be spent getting stock ready. My dad will be making metalwork and we'll obviously be packing the van and going off to another garden show. So yeah, a very, very, very busy time ahead. I am really excited though. Like, it's a lot of hard work, and I don't think some people understand how much work goes into, you know, setting up a stall, and obviously we have to stay the night there as well, which is its own kind of fun. But have a look over on the website, because there's a full list over there. I remember the shows we're doing, but I never remember in which order. So it's best to head on over to the events page on the website at www.lavenderandleeks.co.uk, and have a look and see if we're coming to a show near you, because it would be really great if you could pop by and say hello and give us some support, because we're probably going to be really knackered. But it's always nice to say hello and to talk to fellow gardeners, and obviously people who watch the videos and things. It's always nice. But yeah, I actually had the opportunity to go to Wales this weekend, but like I said, it's the last free weekend in such a long time, and I've got so many different projects going on that I can't quite talk about yet. But yeah, so many projects and commitments to do that I decided to make the grown-up, boring, horrible adult choice of staying at home to get everything done before the shows start, which I'm really sad about because I miss Wales so much. But it takes 4.5 hours to drive there, and obviously 4.5 hours to drive back, so it's not just like I can pop there for the day. But hopefully I'll be there just after my birthday for 3 or 4 days, so I got that to look forward to. And like I said, once the shows start, it's going to be busy, so I won't be able to think about Wales too much. But yeah, last free weekend, so I'm going to make the most of it, get those jobs done, get some projects done, head up the allotment and just enjoy it for a little bit, because I'm not going to have the time to enjoy it in a long time. So yeah, I'm gonna sow my gherkin. I think I would have sown my squash if I remembered to soak them, but I didn't. So I'm gonna sow my gherkin and then head on up the allotment. But I hope you enjoyed the little tour of the greenhouse, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Oh, let's move these. Oh my gosh, I forgot my tea. Oh god, that's going to be stone cold, and there was nothing worse than cold tea. Oh, gutted.